You're listening to A Student of Beauty, and this is part 2 of Philippine Perfumery and Finding Your Destiny with the founder of Tadhana Fragrance, Miss Shale Albao. Hi guys, welcome back to A Student of Beauty. My name is Gabbi, and today I have the pleasure and honor of sitting with Tadhana's founder, Miss Shale Albao, based here in Manila, and we get to talk about one of the first Philippine beauty brands that is based here in the Philippines, formulated here in the Philippines, and sourced here in the Philippines. And with that being said, I'm sitting with, I think, a historical person paving the way for scent in the Philippines, and I hope you guys tune in.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for having me. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Was that okay? Okay.
Working on our perfume documentary, that has been one question that, Alan, our director, has been asking. It's like, when do you know it's ready? When did you know that, okay, this is good enough, both for your perfume, but also for you as an artist, and also for your business plan? What were those moments like, both professionally, creatively, and personally for you?
So creatively, I would say, like when making the perfume, the moment that smelling it makes me smile, that was the initial signal that, okay, I got something here that might work. Because it already made me happy. I like it. So great.
I like how you said might.
Might, because who knows, right? It's
Yeah.
my taste versus many other people.
Yeah.
So when I smell it and I smile, that is the first signal. I'm realizing now, so we've finished our first collection, the 6 scents, and we're building 2 new collections. I'm realizing now that the standards become higher because aside from, oh, I like it and it made me smile, now it has to, this scent fit into the universe of Tadhana. Does this scent fit into the brand? Because professionally, when we're building the brand, we had an idea in mind.
Yeah.
But over time, it grows.
Yeah.
And so all the other standards come up too. Like the new collection has to fit. It has to make sense. So yeah. So aside from it making me smile and be personally liking the product,
Yeah.
it's also realizing that is it up to standard to the customer that might have it. Because now, whenever we have customers, especially customers from the Philippines reaching out to us, especially young people, like, hey, it's my first job, this is my first salary, and I'm very excited to buy a Tadhana perfume. That means so much to us. And as the entrepreneur behind it, it makes me realize just how important it is to make sure we deliver a really, really good quality product. Because it's someone else's first salary, it's someone else's gift to their mom. And so we have to honor that and to make good by that.
But I, again, first want to say on camera that my mom loved this. My mom absolutely loved, and as I told you before we sat down, she's a hard sell on scents. And immediately she was like, oh my God, this smells so good. And I seriously feel like it's because of the ingredients that's in your formulations and that make your perfumes, because my mom's like, she was born here. And I was just like, it's probably because the Philippines is in your DNA. Yeah. And the Philippines DNA is also in these bottles. So there's a sense of knowing already that there's something grounding, I want to believe, from olfactive memory and scent, because yeah, I was like, it's probably because you were made in the Philippines and this is also made in the Philippines, so there's a compliment there, right? No, I'm kidding, but it's also serious at the same time. Let's talk a little bit about the raw materials and choosing to be here. So maybe also too, I'll let you finish your story. So you made the decision, you got pushed over the edge by your mom and your partner, and you say, okay, I'm gonna tell my friends I'm going to go study the craft of perfume making in France. You move to France, you're there for 2 months. You have this amazing experience. And in that experience, did you decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to formulate in the Philippines, or did that happen afterwards?
Okay. So funnily, so while I was at school, I was calling my partner, okay, we have to incorporate now. We have to start the business now. And he was like, can we wait until you come back here first before we start planning the business side of it? But yeah, I got super excited about that. The initial idea was to actually incorporate and start the business in Canada. Because at that time, I was spending most of my time in Canada. My partner is Canadian. And so we thought that it would be good to start there. And once it grows bigger, we'll bring it to the Philippines. That was the initial idea. But it always had the identity of Asia and Philippines from the very beginning. What the fortunate thing that happened was, for some other reason, I had to go back to the Philippines at the time. And my partner joined me. And we stayed for more than a year. That was unplanned. And we started the business in the Philippines. And so we introduced the fragrances for the first time in our homeland. And at that time, we realized it was actually the smartest idea, because the stories that we are telling, it's now homegrown. And it felt much, much more authentic to start there than anywhere else.
What does that mean to you to have a homegrown, made in the Philippines perfume brand? That is contrary to what all the high-end luxury brands are doing, and even international brands that work with perfumers that are based in Graz.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have a homegrown Philippine brand?
Because we really have a story to tell. And we could have manufactured this elsewhere. What the common practice in the industry is to have it manufactured by huge perfumery houses. Most of them are in France. That's the norm. But for us to start it in the Philippines was, for me, being more authentic to the story that we are telling. We're telling stories about the Philippines. We're telling stories about the ingredients. And where else should we make it from but our own country?
1000%. I think that there's so much opportunity here in the Philippines, and in the beauty market, and even in, raw materials when it comes to perfume. And it's something that I think is so unique and significant. And I just hope nothing but the best. And there's so many possibilities for the Philippines, and especially that day that you do become big enough as a brand to be able to manufacture, let's say, in France, right, and have someone formulate. How cool of an opportunity would that be for you to be able to provide raw materials that are completely sourced from here in the Philippines?
Absolutely.
And creating that pathway for the local communities that help source. So I don't know if this is proprietary information or if it's something that you don't mind sharing, but what ingredients did you find that you were just like, oh my, I know that there might be proprietary information, but what led you to be like, I'm going to source from the Philippines. I know I can extract raw materials from the Philippines. Nobody's done it before. Or have people done it before? How did you find the raw materials that are based here in the Philippines?
So one of the big reasons why we really wanted to source locally is, ultimately, the dream for Tadhana is that it will become a vehicle for our farmers to be able to thrive. So as we use the local ingredients, my hope is a lot more people from outside the country will discover the ingredients that we have and take interest, source it from here, and so it will elevate our farmers ultimately. There are actually already producers here in the Philippines that have been producing for other countries, but we did not really know about them. And for a very, very long time, LME, which is a sap of a pili tree, we have been exporting it to France for a long time, but the farmers who were doing it did not know what it's being used for.
Wow.
And it's only in the last couple of years that they realized that it was for perfumery.
Wow.
I know, but for decades and decades, France has been using it.
Wow.
So we have it. We have local manufacturers, we have sources, we also have ilang farms up in the north that, as they say, they have been supplying to Chanel for a long time. So yeah, we have products that we are exporting, but it's only in the last few years that we are also using these products locally because we're using them in our own Filipino fragrance brands.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That the Philippines has contributed to luxury brands.
Absolutely.
And from our natural raw materials and resources, that's such a cool part of Philippine history that I feel like is so beautiful and in contrast to a lot of tragedy. And so what else did you discover that was really fun here in the Philippines? And like, where did you start? Were you just like, okay, I'm gonna try to find this raw material or this, and you know, how did that happen? Because like calamansi, not a lot of people, I don't know, like tell me, do a lot of people export calamansi extract like
I don't
for
think
perfume?
so. Yeah, I don't actually, for perfume I don't think so.
Okay.
So I was, along the way, I've met people that just led me to more people who are able to produce. So calamansi, for one, I came across someone on LinkedIn and just found out that, oh, he is extracting calamansi. He has a production facility and also in my city, Pasig. And so I approached them, I talked to them, and there was another local perfumer who had a celebration that I attended, and in that celebration there was someone who is already producing ilang. So it's really a lot of like meeting people along the way and knowing that they are also producing, and not just producing but already for ilang, for Vetiver, for LME, I've already been exporting for a long time to other countries, to huge fragrance brands. But some, like calamansi, for example, as far as I know, it's not being used yet in perfumery in other countries. So it's really us Filipino perfumers. It's our job to really introduce them to the world and to get people excited about it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like so excited for the sense and for the future of perfumery, and honestly the future of the Filipino beauty scene and the manufacturers and what's possible here. I think I've said this in multiple different ways, in personal conversation, online, and you know, with you know, beauty experts here in the Philippines, and now with you. Like, I truly feel like the Philippines is in the middle of a historic renaissance, and it is an absolute honor to be able to bear witness to everybody who's making Philippine history right now. From all of the media publications that are emerging here that are able to tell Philippine focused stories. We're no longer taking in stories from around the world. We're now telling our stories to the world, and that impact is so immense, and I cannot wait to see what ripple effect it makes on everybody who's curious, anyone who's been searching for what it means to be a Filipina or have ancestry, like the fact that maybe there's full circle moments even in the raw materials. How beautiful is that? And I'm just so honored to be able to sit with you at this stage in your growth and in your life chapter and in your career with Tadhana, because I truly feel like this is a representation of not only your story, but the destiny that awaits for the Philippine beauty scene and for the industries that still have yet to emerge. And I think that that's something that you should be so proud of. And I absolutely understand that like tug and pull of like, we have to do this and we have to do this now. Like, almost like if you don't do it right when you feel impulsively to do it, you're gonna miss a mark. Did you feel that way?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt like when we started this.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's how I felt like when we started this. It was something that it kind of took over me. And it was almost like I have to sprint towards it because if I don't sprint fast enough, I might miss the window.
Yeah.
And it's almost like timing and destiny and Tadhana, if you will, is something that you can't stop. Like it's almost like this gravitational force that just pushes you. And if you're willing to be receptive to it. Because I'm also a believer, if you want to say no to it, you can say no. But I feel like, I don't know, I don't even want to entertain the thought of the ask of like, what would that look like? Because there had been some times where I was just like, what would have it looked like? And I would stop the thought because I'm like, no, because that's gonna, I feel like even bringing that energy in might like slow it down still, because I'm paranoid like you. I understand where you're just like, so wait, let's finish that story. So you called your partner and were like, I need to incorporate now. Did you incorporate, or did you wait until did you incorporate in Canada? Like, what was that? What happened?
So the moment I went home to Canada at the time, we didn't incorporate immediately in Canada first.
Yeah.
But then when we moved to the Philippines,
Unplanned.
Okay. We moved back to the Philippines and he joined me.
Okay.
We incorporated again. So we're incorporated in both countries.
Got it. So you got Canada so now you're covered. You got North America,
you
got the Philippines. No, I love it. So let's talk a little bit about scents. So you're talking about calamansi, how that's something that you don't really see people using in perfumery yet. What's another ingredient that you haven't seen people use in perfumery yet?
We have almasiga. Almasiga is a tree. It's a Philippine tree. It smells like old wood with varnish. That's what it smells like. So it's something that it's something that we're going to use in the next batch of fragrances that we're going to launch pretty soon. So that's one, almasiga. Another one would be Vetiver Filipina. Vetiver Filipina is a grass, and vetiver actually is very common. There's vetiver from Indonesia, from Java, from Haiti. But Vetiver Filipina has a very distinct smell. It's more earthy and nutty versus the ones from Indonesia, which is more smoky. So it's very distinct. So there's that too. We have mango. We have, mango is just a very, very juicy fruit.
Also, I say this every time, nobody's had a mango until they've come to the Philippines and had mangoes here.
That's so true. That's so true.
You just haven't had one. Yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
We also have dalandan, which is our local orange. And it's less sweet than U.S. oranges, but more sweet than lime. So it's like right in between. It's a very good balance.
That's the one that's a little tangy, right? And it's not as it's not as juicy.
It is juicy, but
okay.
it's not as sweet.
Got it.
So it's a very good blender when it comes to woody fragrances, floral fragrances, because it doesn't make the composition too sweet, but it gives the brightness and the joyfulness that a citrus fruit would do.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. When you were sourcing raw materials and when you were going to look for these scents and you were discovering what is available here in the Philippines, were you made aware of it when you were at the perfumery school?
No, not yet. So, but I knew that I wanted to look for Philippine ingredients, and it was very fortunate to know that there are already some producers that are doing it.
Wow. Yeah. So you process and was that process like, I'm making the right decision?
Yeah. It's almost as if every step of the way it was telling me that this is the right thing to do. So for example, when I talked to the person that was producing calamansi extract, calamansi essential oil, when I talked to him and when he shared his vision of, I really wanted to share Philippine ingredients to the world, we automatically connected on that same vision. So absolutely, every step of the way, there were signals and signs that were saying that this is the right thing to do.
Oh my gosh. I could only imagine just being here on the ground, doing our work just as storytellers and just sitting down and interviewing different people and going on an adventure. I can only imagine what it was like to go on an adventure to create a physical product. Yeah. How fun. What was your favorite part of the process?
For me, it was, the whole process was very creative, just from the idea, formulating the idea of, okay, this is the feeling that we want to evoke. We want to invoke joyfulness, for example, but coupled with groundedness. So coming from the idea and turning those ideas into notes. So groundedness, like what notes are we going to use to evoke the feeling of groundedness? What about joyfulness? So all these things. So taking it from feeling an idea to notes and blending them, making sure that they are harmonious, and finally seeing it like with your eyes, holding it with your hands, feeling the entire product and smelling it.
I love it. I love it. So when you decided to use the raw materials, did you like go on an adventure through the different regions?
We did.
You did?
We did.
Can you share a bit about
So there
what
was
that
this
was like?
one time we went to do an ilang-ilang picking. We spent the night in this beautiful ilang-ilang farm. Early the next morning, like 2 a.m., we had to wake up because apparently when you need to pick ilang-ilang, it has to be still cool in the night. Because if you pick it too late, like if there's already sun, the juice would turn sour. So we had to wake up 2 a.m., put on our boots, pick ilang-ilang flowers, sorted them before daylight, and once it's daylight, we were able to witness how it was being distilled from petals into oil.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you told me this, but had people already been sourcing ylang-ylang from the Philippines?
Yes, for a long time, and being used by major beauty fragrance brands.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when people think of, like when I think of that scent, I think of another part of Asia. And so how do you feel the Philippines complements or contrasts different regions in both Southeast Asia and Asia in general?
Yeah. So I'll start with ilang-ilang first. With ilang-ilang, actually, originally, historically,